You're behind the wheel. You see the lights. Your heart rate goes up. In the next 60 seconds, decisions will be made by you and by that officer. That could determine whether you go home tonight or end up in handcuffs. The difference, what you know right now. Welcome to Survive the Encounter. As y'all know by now, I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 43 years on the job and a criminal law instructor. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what the Fourth Amendment means the moment those blue lights hit your mirror. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. That word, unreasonable, is doing a lot of work. Courts have carved out specific exceptions for vehicles going back to the 1925 Supreme Court case, Carroll versus United States. The reasoning. Cars are mobile. Evidence can disappear fast. So if an officer has probable cause, real, articulable facts suggesting evidence of a crime is in that vehicle, they don't need a warrant to search it. Example, the smell test. But what happens before any of that? During the stop itself. That's where most people get it wrong. Let's go through it. First question I get all the time. Can an officer legally order me out of my car? Yes. Full stop. In 1977, the Supreme Court ruled in Pennsylvania versus Mims that an officer can order the driver out of the vehicle during any lawful traffic stop. No additional suspicion required. The court called it a minimal intrusion, justified by officer safety. And in 1997, Maryland versus Wilson extended that same authority to passengers. That means if you're pulled over for a broken taillight, every single person in that car can be told to step out. Legally. That's not a power trip. I've done that stop hundreds of times. It's an officer safety call. Here's what you need to know. Comply calmly. Refusing to exit could result in an obstruction charge or physical removal. Keep your hands visible. Your move slowly and note everything you can for later. You fight this in court, and not on the roadside. Now, what if you step out voluntarily? Or maybe you think it'll show you're cooperatives, that it'll cool things down. Here's the legal reality. It doesn't violate your rights, but from a tactical standpoint, and I'm telling you this from the other side of the badge, stepping out unexpectedly can escalate things. Officers are trained to treat unexpected movement as a threat indicator. You're still being seized under the Fourth Amendment. Whether you're in the car or standing next to it, you are not free to leave until that officer says so. And voluntarily exiting doesn't give them automatic grounds to search, but it may invite more scrutiny, more questions, or a pat-down if they decide they have reasonable suspicion of a weapon. My advice? Stay in the car, hands on the wheel, wait for instruction. Let the officer control the pace. Last, and this is the one most people don't know, and a consent search is one of the most common ways police search a vehicle is simply by asking.
I don't consent to any
No warrant needed.
All right.
No probable cause. Just, mind if I take a look for any weapons? I don't think you have anything but just for officer safety. You understand, don't you? And if you say yes, that's it.
Can I check out your
Legally,
car
you
for
just open the
guns,
door.
drugs, and stolen property?
Just say no.
I don't consent to any searches.
Some of the famous words from Nancy Reagan,
Thank you.
again my advice, do not give consent,
Anything
as
found
most
before
officers
you
are just
withdraw?
fishing.
Fair game.
Consent must be voluntary,
Anything after a clear,
Not coerced,
unequivocal withdrawal,
not the
potentially
result of
suppressible in court.
threats or implied pressure. A threat by them to obtain a search warrant if you don't give consent is a coerced consent. But here's what I want you to lock in. You can withdraw consent at any time. If a search starts and you change your mind, you have the right to say clearly, I am revoking my consent.
Officer,
Please
I gave
stop
consent,
searching.
But I'm withdrawing it now. You have to
They must stop,
searching.
unless
Sir,
they've
I
already
just need a
found something
moment.
that gives them
No, consent is
independent,
withdrawn
probable
immediately.
cause.
All right, sir.
Anything
Close
found
the door.
before you withdraw? Fair game.
Anything found before you
Anything after a
withdraw?
clear,
Fair
unequivocal withdrawal?
Anything after
potentially
a clear,
suppressible in court,
unequivocal withdrawal,
and before it even
potentially
gets to that
suppressible in
point,
court.
you don't have to say yes in the first
Can I
place.
check out your car for guns,
A
drugs,
calm,
and stolen
firm,
property?
I don't consent to any searches is your right.
Thank you.
Use it. Let's lock this in. Voluntarily exiting is your choice, but stay calm and predictable. Don't give them a reason to escalate. Consent is not a one-way door.
Officer,
You can revoke it clearly, calmly, and immediately.
Sir, I just
Every
need a
one of
moment
these
here.
situations
No,
I've
consent
described,
is withdrawn
I've
immediately.
been on the other
All right,
side
sir.
of.
Closing the door.
I'm giving you this information because the gap between knowing your rights and not knowing them can change everything about how an encounter ends. If this helped you, share it with someone who
Every one of
needs
these
it.
situations I've described, I've been on the
Subscribe
other
to
side.
survive the encounter,
I'm giving you this
because your
information
safety
because
and
the
your
gap
freedom
between knowing your rights
depend
and
on
not
what you
knowing
know
can change
before the
everything
blue
about how an
lights
encounter ends.
flash. Stay tuned for next episode of Survive the Encounter. We're going to examine the Second Amendment, the favorite amendment of gun owners.